Jack the Ripper, a 19th century serial killer, a monster, a savage, an unidentified assassin. 130 years later, the Ripper is sexy, romantic, terribly thrilling. I explore how Ripper novels have romanticised abuse towards women, forcing the Ripper into this figure of sexual desire, luring readers by tapping into their dark, twisted sexual fantasies, which produces more texts alike, and which I will analyse for the very first time. So, let me take you on this wild sex ride where we glorify the Ripper in the wake of Me Too. This obsession with sexy serial killers is what I call the 50 Shades of Grey effect, a contemporary appetite for dark erotic fiction and film. So how is it a man who butchered women reimagined as sexy today? In order to understand that, we must first travel back in time. 19th century newspapers created sexualized imagery that was both raw and shocking, yet sexually arousing for male audiences. Intimate details of the victim's underwear, half-naked illustrations of the victim's dead bodies, drawing their dead but large yet perky breasts for the purposes of factual reporting to objectify the victims for years to come. The sexualization of the Ripper is a 21st century trend, and he's become so sexualized he's often mistaken for having raped his victims. And with sexual violence in the spotlight today, as seen in the Reclaim the Night protests in London in 2021, and recent statistics showing that sexual attacks towards women are on the rise, how is it a man who mutilated female sexual organs is placed on shelves, romanticised, becoming part of this 21st century romance genre? This comes down to female sexual empowerment. I provide an examination into today's sex culture, mummy porn, sex toys, bondage. Recent studies have shown that this is an activity that affords pleasure, reading and writing about sexuality and violence. And given the Ripper's unknown identity, this means he can be anything readers and writers want him to be, including a Christian Grey-style sex god. And given that the time-lapse of the Ripper's murders, does this fictionalization of them become acceptable? Is this then overlooked by Me Too and feminists? More importantly, given our sex-obsessed culture, where do we draw the line between sexual fantasy and sexual violence today?